Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable, artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And right now, if you order from FijiWater.com, you will receive a 25% discount on 2 cases or more. Not a subscription, just a one-time order of 2 cases or more for 25% off at FijiWater.com. Your code is SPRING, because spring has sprung. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. I'm going to say to all of our listeners and viewers who continue giving on the Give segment of our apps at New Life Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at New Life Ministries International and NewLife.com and New Life International CDC.com. We thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, we are RadioFreeNetwork.com Live. You go to RadioFreeNetwork.com/new-life, and you will see all of our broadcasts, the videos of all of our broadcasts. We are broadcasting live, and now you can listen to our new internet radio station 24 hours a day, WKAP, Faith Empowerment Radio. If you go to RadioFreeNetwork.com/WKAP-Faith, and you will see our broadcast that is available to you 24 hours a day. You will be able to listen to music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you 24 hours a day to become the best version of yourself that you could possibly become. And in addition to that, as we move forward with our 24-hour internet radio station, you will hear segments like 3D. You will hear segments on health and wellness from Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. You will also hear segments on mental health and wellness. You'll hear segments on financial literacy and on entrepreneurship. So we don't want you to miss any of that. And then in addition to that, we will be interviewing gospel recording artists, and our Achievers Academy students will be interviewing celebrated individuals on a segment called Achievers. And so we don't want you to miss any of this. Make certain that you are tuned in. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com/WKAP-Faith, and you will be able to listen to our new internet radio station. Internet radio station 24 hours a day, I might add. Music that will bless your spirit. So I want to begin the broadcast segment of our communications by addressing a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that people are always asking you for advice, for your advice. However, when you give it to them, they do what they want to do instead of following your instructions. let me let me say this to you. First of all, the reason people ask you your opinion on advice, ask your advice on an opinion on their circumstances of life is because they respect you, they respect what you've accomplished, and so therefore they're going to someone that they believe will give them good information. The problem with that is that the moment that you're done instructing them, they're going to decide whether or not they want to implement your instructions or whether they want to do things their way. What you have to recognize is that everyone's not going to follow the instructions that you give them. And let me give you a prime example of that. So I am senior pastor of New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. And I can truly tell you that I wish as a pastor, everyone in our church read their Bible every single day. Now, I know that the people in our church are reading their Bibles because we have a lot of communication about that. We have Bible study every Thursday night. We have communication about the Word of God, of course, on Sunday as I preach the sermons. And then if anyone has any questions, I'm always available to them. They can always reach out to me. So I know that people are reading their Bibles because I get a lot of questions about what they're reading in the Bible. But I wish I could say that every single day, every one of them is reading their Bible. I wish I could say every one of them. But there's probably a few people here or there that may not read it every day. They might read it. They might miss 1 or 2 days during the week. They might read it every other day. There are people, I'm sure, that are not picking up their Bible and reading it every day. And I've instructed people to do that every day because the Holy Bible is the handbook of living your basic instructions before leaving earth. So it's got all the instructions in there, all the guidance that you could possibly need. It is a roadmap for life. And I know that, and I know that our congregation knows that also. But I'm sure that there's someone that may be missing reading their Bible every day here or there. It happens for most people. Not everyone, but for most people. They may miss a day, they may get their daily bread, but they may miss reading chapters of the Bible every day. And the reason I'm using that as an example to say to you, I've instructed everyone continuously to read the Bible because everything you need is right inside. I've given that instruction consistently, yet everyone's not going to follow that instruction. I wish they would, but they're not. What the Bible tells us is that their blood is not on my hands as a pastor. It would be my responsibility, it would be on me if I didn't tell them. So when you're giving people instruction, you're giving them, advice. Some of your advice is based on perspective, some of your advice is based on opinions, some of your advice may be based on fact, but they respect your advice. When they leave you, they're going to decide what they're going to do. And because you took the time to give them the instructions, their consequences are not on you. Their consequences would only be on you if God had assigned them to your life to give them guidance and instruction, and you felt like you don't have time to deal with someone else's issues, you don't have time to deal with someone else's problems, you don't choose to deal with someone else's problems. But that's not your choice. If God is sending them to you, they need to hear it. Whether they choose to serve it, your instructions, or not, is going to be another matter. But it's not. Their consequences are not going to be on your head. So, it's for all of our listeners and viewers, something that my wife and I have always told our children. We're going to say what needs to be said. Even if you don't want to hear it, And even if you don't apply it, you'll never be able to come back and say, why didn't you tell me that? You'll never be able to say, why didn't you give me the guidance and instruction I needed to get to where I need to go? If we don't give the guidance and the instruction, then it's on our head. So you just listen, and I know where you were going with this. You're a little tired of giving people advice and they don't follow it, but that's not what God has assigned you to do. God didn't assign you to give them advice and expect them to follow it to the letter. You could even have that expectation on their behalf, but it has nothing to do with you. So, it's important if you give people direction, they should follow the direction without deviation. Unless there's some unknown variables that you are not familiar with or that you have not been told, then there's no reason to deviate from the instructions. But the choice is to deviate from the instructions, which then doesn't lead to a positive result. It leads to a negative consequence. But that too is part of their development and their growth. So you have to say it. You can't say, I'm tired of dealing with people, their problems, and I'm tired of giving them instruction and they don't accept, they don't use it, they don't implement it. That's not for you to decide. It's for you to just give the guidance and the instruction. That you've been given, give freely. The guidance and instruction. Because you've been receiving guidance from God and you've been given instruction by the wisdom of God. So you have to be willing to share that wisdom. But if they choose not to adhere to it, then it's not on, their consequences are not on you. So if they come to you for advice, give them advice. And then let them go on their way. And there's a passage in the Bible that says if they don't receive it, stamp the dust off your feet and keep it moving. In other words, just keep going. That's a choice that they get to make. The power of our choices are going to determine the benefits and blessings that we experience in our lives. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. However, before I do that, I want to remind everyone that we are now live on our 24-hour internet radio station. This broadcast will eventually, once we're done with the back office technology, will eventually be broadcast live on the radio station also during this same time. However, we are encouraging you to tune in now. Be encouraged, be empowered, be inspired by the music that will be playing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio. Go to radiofreenetwork.com/WKAP-faith, and you will be able to tune in to Faith Empowerment Radio every day, 24 hours a day, where you will hear music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your dad has been dating different women since the divorce of your parents. He is not remarried, however, you are about to get married, and you are not certain who he will bring to your wedding. And you don't want him to bring someone to the wedding that you don't particularly care for it. Listen, how are you going to know that that is going to be your day? Now, first of all, you have to take into consideration your father's not going to bring someone to the wedding that is going to be to disrupt the day. That's not who he is. You got to trust that. And you also have to trust the fact that this is your day that God has set aside for you. Whoever your father brings to the wedding as a plus one, you're not going to have time to get to know them on that day anyway. The best that you can hope for is to take a moment and greet his guest. That's it. You're going to be involved in the most glorious day of your life, the day that you enter into holy matrimony. And you're going to be busy greeting all of your family and friends. You're going to be busy enjoying your day, being photographed for memories that will last for decades, for generations to come. Your focus doesn't need to be on who your father is going to bring to the wedding. You're just trying to figure out how you're going to handle the dynamics of your mother and your father being at your wedding and how they're going to be involved in the wedding. So let me say this to you. I was prayerful about this, and God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life and in the life of your father. I said all of these things because I want you to understand that if your father were to bring someone else to the wedding, a plus one to your wedding, you don't need to be concerned about who he's going to bring. He would never bring someone to the wedding that's going to be disruptive. That's the first thing. You need to be mindful of that. However, I will tell you this. He may have someone coming with him to the reception, but I can tell you right now, your father is not going, he's going to have her, may have her coming to the reception, but he's not going to have her at the wedding because he's going to be engaged in the wedding. He doesn't want to bring someone and then have to sit them by themselves. So he knows he's going to be participating in your wedding. So he's not even going to bring someone to the ceremony. What he may do is bring someone to the reception, and that's okay. Don't try to figure out how to navigate all of this. Your father and your mother are grown adults. They've been divorced for a period of time. They are grown adults who are capable of focusing on their daughter, focusing on your glorious day. They're not going to be focused on being disruptive. They're not going to be focused on any animosity. That is so far from their thought process. You're worrying about something that you don't need to worry about. You're adding additional stress onto the fact that you're getting married. This is one of the biggest events that will occur in your lifetime. You know, I think we sometimes forget that. Marriage is one of the biggest events that will occur in your lifetime. Having a child is another major event that will occur in your lifetime. Purchasing a home is another major event that will occur in your lifetime. Those are the three largest events that will occur in your personal life, in your lifetime. We don't need to add additional stress onto those events because there are already going to be enough responsibilities to endure when you're trying to get married or having a child or purchasing or building a home. Those are going to be major events that we don't need to add additional stress. You don't need to try to handle your parents or who they might bring to your wedding or your reception. You don't need to concern yourself with that. Enjoy your day. Allow the Spirit of God to move up on your blessed event. You're about to become someone's wife. That should be your focus. Just as his focus should be that he's about to become someone's husband. And I'm going to go a little further with this with you, because I'm delighted that you tuned in to share this. When we get married, you become responsible for another person. And what I mean by that is not that you're controlling their life, but you become responsible to make certain that you love them, that you nurture them, that you encourage them, that you inspire them. That all becomes part of the responsibility, whether you become a husband or whether you become a wife. That is the responsibility. And for us men, protect, protect, protect. Protect, provide peace, and provide. That's what we're responsible for doing. And the wife, of course, God willing, someday bearing children, you become the nurturer of the child, and everybody's got a responsibility. So those are the things that the two of you should be focused on, not grown people. You shouldn't be stressing yourself out about what anybody else is going to be doing. As long as no one's causing a disruption, don't add any additional stress on yourself. You're about to become someone's wife. That's going to be a big enough responsibility. And if you pray and ask God, has He assigned you to be a parent, and God opens your womb and you give birth to a child, you're going to be responsible for another life. So those are the things we need to be focusing on. Not what your father's going to do, not what your mother's going to do, who they're going to bring to the wedding and the reception. All of that's just stuff. Added pressure that you don't need to concern yourself with. Focus on the blessed day that is ahead of you. And I know you're going to be getting married in the summer months, and so our summer months. You're in a climate that actually is pretty good year round, other than the rain. So I want to say to you, God bless you and your soon-to-be husband. May you have many years of marital bliss, and be blessed and prosper and have good success. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. Shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt Attire today. If you are not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. If you're in New York, stop in at their retail stores. Stop in at the retail store on Fifth Avenue. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your husband has control issues. You could navigate through it when your children were younger. However, you are finding it more difficult now to navigate now that your children are older, they're adults, young adults, and because you cannot control them, you say he's grumpy all the time, and those are your words, not mine. Let me say this to you. So you said he has some control issues. I was prayerful about this. You're right. He does have some control issues. He's not a bad guy. He just wants the best for his family. Yes, could he let go of some of the control that he wants to have, yes, he could. He could let go of a few things. He's not grumpy all the time, but I get it. I was prayerful about this. God allowed me to see in that secret place. He gets a little moody sometimes about what everyone is doing. And if he's not aware of what everyone's doing, it bothers him. And that's a control issue. He's not mean. He's not abusive, physically or verbally. He is really just, watch this, kind of the old school with issues. He wants the best for his family. But he does have a control issue. And let me help you out with something. That's not going to change overnight. That's part of what his personality has become. So only thing you're going to have to do is encourage him to let go of some things. You were navigating it when you were at home, when the children were at home because they were younger and they had to be obedient. But now they're out of the house. So as the mediator, for lack of a better term, the only thing you can do really is just encourage him to let go of some things. There's some things, and hopefully you'll encourage him to tune in and listen to this. And at very least you can repeat it. There's some things not only does he not have to control, but there's some things he's not assigned by God to control. Listen, you control the things that God assigns to you. Those are the things you control. You control watch this, you control your behavior, you control your dedication, you control your commitment, you control your spirit of excellence. There are things that you can control, that you're assigned by God to control. You control how you perform in your professional environment. There are things you're assigned by God to control. But there are some things that you're not assigned to control. And that's hence the purpose for the Serenity Prayer. And that is that God will give you the strength to accept what you cannot change the things that you can, and be wise enough to know the difference. Now, that's not the whole prayer, but that's the basis of it. There's some things we just have to accept. So, and particularly when you're dealing with adults, whether they're siblings or whether they're children or whoever they are, there are some things that you cannot control. And you have to be okay with that. You just have to encourage him to let go of some things. When your children don't do the things that he would like them to do, or the things that he's been able to, instruct them to do in the past, but now they don't do it, well, that's part of their development. That's part of their growth. That's part of God shaping them. Because, when you go through some things, it shapes you. It surgically removes some aspects of your life. So you just have to encourage him. And I know you're saying right now it's exhausting. I get it. But the reality is you just have to encourage him to let go of some things. If you want him to be, as you said, less grumpy, if you want him to be at peace, just encourage him to let go of some things. There are some things that he's not going to be able to control, nor is he assigned to control them. So therefore he has to let them go so that he can have some peace and that he can feel good about life every single day. This segment of the broadcast in today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. And remember, if you order from FijiWater.com right now, you will receive a 25% discount on 2 cases or more. That is not a subscription. It is a one-time order, 25% off of 2 cases or more at FijiWater.com. www.earthfinestwater.com, Earth's finest water. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. And I want to remind everyone, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live, we are RadioFreeNetwork.com live. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com. Click on radio, the drop box will appear. Click on the New Life link. Every broadcast is available to you, and tune in for our 24-hour internet radio station, WKAP, Faith Empowerment Radio. Go to RadioFreeNetwork.com /WKAP.